Ladies and gents, greetings. Welcome to Firstlight Cloud Xchange, your cloud solution center. Today, we wanted to bring in a company named DTEN to discuss video meetings and video conferencing. As you're all very well familiar, that video meetings are a very important part of what you do on a daily basis. Pretty much every meetings we take today are all over the video. Aside from video meetings, there are content sharing, document sharing, and many other things that play a major role. DTEN is a company that developed very well-designed video software and hardware. We invited Mr. David Silberstein to discuss DTEN products. David, welcome. Okay.
Glad to be here.
So let's discuss DTEN.
Sure.
Tell us about DTEN.
Sure. So DTEN builds all-in-one appliances that allow you to communicate, collaborate, and ideate. So everything's built in, everything you need from cameras, microphones, speakers, touch screens, which we'll get to in a little bit, I'm sure, makes it very easy for everybody to use. Everything from a 27-inch to sit on your desktop or use in a small space, all the way up to dual 75-inch screens, so you can have both people and content at the same time in the room.
That's great. So before we discuss the details, let's talk about DTEN as a brand. There are many different vendors out there, Poly, Yealink, Logitech, etc. Why is DTEN different and why is DTEN better?
Sure. So probably the biggest differentiator between all the other solutions is from the beginning we engaged that it is very important to be able to touch and have the ability to bring in whiteboarding, annotation, as well as annotation over content. And let's face it, touch is so ubiquitous these days. You don't pick up your phone and you don't touch it. You don't even get in your car and you don't touch it these days. Why would you walk in the conference room and not be able to touch the screen? So when we're talking about ease of use, and I know you and I would push 19 buttons in order to make something happen and not even think about it. But for the average user that just wants to come in and get a meeting started, why can't you just walk up and touch the screen when it says start meeting and you're in your meeting? And that's what really DTEN brings to the table, is that ease of use for everybody to be able to get in, start a meeting, and then more than just look at each other, they can actually collaborate and ideate. And sharing ideas across the platform is really what gets the job done at the end of the day.
So when you say touch, basically you're touching the screen itself, right?
Correct.
So the monitor, we are usually not used to touching the monitor. Usually if you're working on a laptop or desktop or even a tablet, or not tablet, laptop or desktop, you're using the mouse. On your products, on your devices, you're actually able to touch?
Right. Everything is touch enabled. So one of the things that comes to the table for us is when you walk into a room, if there's a scheduled meeting, there'll be a button right in the middle of the screen that says touch to start. You touch the button, it starts the meeting, and you're in and conferencing and doing your thing. Even if you're not in a meeting, if you just walk into a room, there's always a button there that says whiteboard. If you just want to touch that and start marking it up like you would on a normal whiteboard, you can go ahead and do that. But the difference is now that content can be saved, it can be shared, it can be brought to the next meeting, the next location, wherever it needs to go. We're no longer taking a picture of the whiteboard and it's on somebody's phone and it's lost forever. We can take that content that's been created on the DTEN and bring it into our collaborative environment so we can use it again and again and have it available for us.
So not only you're able to touch the screen and initiate a meeting, you're also able to scribble. You know, you're also able to write, draw on another screen in real time, and that would show up on everyone else's device.
Absolutely. And we can even go so far as to say, let's say you're using a collaborative tool, Zoom's Advanced Whiteboard, for example. Mural is a company. Miro is another company that makes collaborative tools. You could sit at your desk and create your collaborative workspace, go into a conference room, put that information up on a 55 or 75-inch screen. Everybody can annotate on it and mark it up and move things around, whether they're in the room or remotely somewhere else, so that everything can be a true collaboration to get the results And when we're done, it goes back to our repository. So when we're at our desk, we can still look and see everything that was done and continue working on the project.
Let me get a simpler picture, if you would allow me. Let's say there are 20 people in an office and there's 30 other people spread across the world, all over the place, right? If all of them have a D10 device, whether a large screen like that or a personal screen like this, not only you're able to video meet with each other, you can also work on a document in real time. Somebody's working on it from London, and from New York, you're able to see that, and Correct. You can also work on it as well.
Mm-hmm. Everybody can work on the document at the same time. Everybody can annotate over the document at the same time. So it really gives everybody the ability to collaborate on that piece, whether you're in the room or whether you're remote somewhere else.
That's a game changer.
Right. And then at the same time, this is one of the reasons why we think dual screens are so powerful, because what you said was you've got 30 people or something somewhere else. With a dual screen, while I'm annotating and collaborating, at the same time, I can still see the faces of those 30 other people. And especially as you're presenting an idea, as you're creating an idea, seeing the reaction of the people on the other side becomes very important to really understand whether it's being absorbed, whether it's positive or negative. And if we're stuck in a single screen, we lose that power, especially when there are 30 remote participants.
So if I get one D10 screen, I would probably get another second Samsung TV or something for the whiteboard. Is that how it works?
Well, with D10 products, everything's all built in. So when you get the D10 piece, everything's there, annotation, all that kind of stuff.
Even the dual screen?
Even the dual screen. So both screens will be touch screens, and you can choose which one you want to annotate on.
Oh, so you put them side by side. Yep. Two D10, 75-inch screen side by side. On one, you could have all the participants, that you can see their face. And on the other one, the content you're working on, that could display.
Absolutely. And some people even add a third screen just as a dedicated whiteboard in another place in the room. Because as we all know, lots of things are presented on one side, but there's always this whiteboard where we need to have a parking lot and put some notes and things. So some people will use a D10 as a dedicated whiteboard in that same environment.
This eliminates the need for having to have a whiteboard on the wall.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's great. So I do see that is a differentiator over the competition. Okay. Tell me about your screen sizes. What kind of screens do you have?
Sure. We have our all-in-one device, which is our 27-inch. And that's really used for desktop as well as huddle rooms and small conference tables, 3-4 person seats. We have a 55-inch, we have dual 55s, we have a 75-inch, dual 75s. And then we have our dedicated whiteboard that you can add to any one of those rooms. You can even add a D10 dedicated whiteboard to an existing Poly or Logitech room where you don't have touch at this time, but you want to bring something like that into the solution. You can add it there as well.
So it's truly a complete solution. You guys have thought of everything, not only just the video meeting, but also content sharing and how to integrate everything on one platform.
Absolutely.
Now, you did mention, I think I heard Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what are the platforms you support?
So currently everything we make runs and is certified on Zoom, and we are in the process of being certified for Teams. That should occur in the March timeframe. But I will note that no matter what environment you're in, if you're running in a Microsoft Teams room and you are invited to a Zoom meeting, you can just hit the join button and it will join a Zoom meeting. And vice versa, if you're in a Zoom environment and you're invited to a Teams meeting, you can hit the join button and it will join a Teams meeting, it'll join a WebEx meeting, it'll join a Google meeting. All those pieces are available. In all cases, both Zoom and Teams, if you hit the join button to type in a number, it gives you a prompt and says, what type of meeting are you going to join? Teams, Zoom, WebEx, etc. You plug in the right number and you're in that meeting. So in today's world, we don't have to worry about, oh, I chose Zoom as my platform and now I'm locked into just Zoom. That Zoom platform can communicate and join with all those other meeting tools.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. That's what I was trying to get to.
Right, and Teams the other way. If you choose Teams as your running platform, Teams can join Zoom and WebEx and all those other things. So we're no longer restricted to this is the software and this is what I have to use.
That's the most critical part of this conversation because typically customers have one provider, right? And we're all, just like we went through the whole iPhone and Android, different types of plugs. Now we're going through that on the video platform. It's refreshing to hear that your platform offers the capacity to join any provider's platform.
Yep. And, theoretically, someday in the future, there's going to be some platform that we haven't thought of yet. So most of our units actually have a USB-C connection, and you could bring in a laptop, plug your laptop in, and we will make the cameras, microphones, speakers, and touch from that board available to the laptop. So you could, on your laptop, start somebody else's conferencing software that we've never thought of before,
Yep.
and still take advantage of the quality of the camera, the microphones that are designed to pick up every sound in the room, etc.
Now, I know a lot of our viewers are already wondering about this. If I'm on a Teams platform or a Zoom platform, am I able to join someone else's meeting? Is that through a web portal? Is that through a link, or is that through your app, your native app?
It's actually through the native app, and both Zoom and Microsoft do this the same way. And what they do is, in the background of the app, they actually open a browser window that is shelled so you don't ever see any of the browser controls. And they use what's called remote guest join. So you come in as a guest as a remote guest into that meeting.
Yeah, but on the user side,
The user doesn't see any difference
anything.
between
They just click a.
The biggest difference a user would see is if they're in a Zoom environment, for example, when they join a Teams meeting, the buttons become red and purple because now they're in the Microsoft Teams room environment.
That's great. So it's with minimal issues. There's no
Correct.
issues whatsoever.
Right. The idea is total ease of use. You should be able to push the join button no matter what platform you're joining into.
Fantastic. Let's talk about, how does one go about getting DTEN? What's the process? I know one can just buy a system,
Right.
but you mentioned that you're offering a trial period.
Sure. So the first thing I would recommend for anybody who's curious about DTEN or wants to check out a unit is we do virtual demos, and virtual demos are pretty powerful because you, as the remote participant, can see what the experience is going to be in your meeting space or conference room. Once we've done a virtual demo and you can really get the true experience for what that board brings to the conference room, we do a 30 to 60 day trial where we'll ship one to you, and you can have it for 30 to 60 days and try it out in your conference room to make sure it fits for your environment, it's the right size, those kind of things. And if it doesn't work, you just send it back. Cost you the freight and away you go.
I see. And the installation, your team provides installation and support?
We do not supply installation and support, but that's where you guys come in and you can take care of all that.
Thank you. That's what we do. So we can definitely order a DTEN product for you, and then Firstlight Professional Services team will come out and install it and manage it for you. Great. What else we got on DTEN?
The only other piece that is important to everybody for DTEN is we do have a piece of monitoring software called Orbit.
Okay.
That allows you to, as an administrator, monitor all your rooms, know if they're online, offline, update firmware, even update the app that's running Zoom or Teams appropriately. And if something does have a failure, you'll get a notification right away that something's failed. You can reach out to our support team, obviously, to see if we can resolve the problem. And we even have an additional feature that's called Mission Control, where our engineers can actually remote into the unit and repair the unit without having to send it back to us for any reason.
That's really fantastic, because then you're actually managing many, many devices. A customer that has multi-location or multiple devices even in the same location.
Correct. They can monitor everything around the world.
There's an admin portal and there's an administrator who can, as well as customer administrator plus your engineering team, that can monitor all the devices and push out firmware updates, all of that.
Yep. Yeah, one of our next products is what we call automated mission control. In that environment, when we release it in the future, not only will we monitor the units for you, if we see a failure, we'll automatically repair that failure without even involving you in any way.
Great information. Well, these are great offers. This is a great product. We can't wait to bring this to your office. Give us a call. Let us come out and do a trial for you. We're confident that you will find DTEN products to be very futuristic, very helpful, and it's perfect for your business today. There's more information on DTEN in the link below in the description. David, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for tuning in.